So today the NBA play-in tournament is going to continue. We're going to see which team's going to get the 8th seed. In this year's Eastern Conference matchup, the Atlanta Hawks will face the Cleveland Cavaliers. Whoever wins this game will go on to face Miami in the first round. This is a game that I think has potential to be really close, as the Cavs have been one of the most surprising teams over the course of the year, whereas the Hawks have been one of the most disappointing over the course of the year. But recently, the Hawks have been on fire, whereas the Cavs have not been on fire at all. So this is going to be a pretty interesting matchup, and in today's video, I'm going to be predicting who I think will win. I'm going to start off. Before we get into the video, I ask you to drop a like on this video as it does help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want more playoff content. I'm going to be posting every single day. Also drop a comment because I respond to all comments, and play that intro. First, talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers and how they could win this game. The obvious big key, in my opinion, for them has to be their defense. They're facing the Hawks, who are one of the best offensive teams in the league. We just saw the Charlotte Hornets lose by 30 points because the Hawks scored 130 points on them, with Trae Young not even playing his best game. If the Cavs want to win this game, they're going to have to defend really well, and I think that's something they are capable of doing. But my only worry is that without Jarrett Allen, their defense is going to be obviously way worse because he's their second best defender, and defense is something that has to be good for the Hawks against a team like the Hawks, because if the Hawks score like 130 points, they're probably winning the game. The Cavs offense also has to step up because they're going against one of the best offenses in the league. You can't go up against one of the best offenses in the league and score like 90 points or something. They're going to need guys to step up. They have multiple players who can step up. We saw Darius Garland play amazing against the Nets. He was by far their best player, and I think he's their best player now. So honestly, after that game, I still expect him to continue to play really well. And I think there is a chance that Darius Garland can outplay Trae Young. I'm not saying he's better than Trae Young, and I probably wouldn't bet on it. But after seeing Darius Garland against the Nets, I really think he's a really clutch player now, and a guy who's going to step up in the big moments. And against this terrible Hawks defense, I could really see him going off for another huge game. Also, they're going to need guys like Evan Mobley to step up and be more aggressive. They're going to need Kevin Love, who's a veteran. I wouldn't be surprised if he got on fire from 3 or something. And straight up, other guys just have to hit their shots and just be a pretty good offense, because no matter how good defense you play on Atlanta, if their shooters get hot, you're probably not winning unless you're scoring enough as them. But honestly, the Cavs definitely have a chance in this game, obviously, and I'm not even that much worried about the Cavs on offense because the Hawks are one of the worst defensive teams. I believe if the Hawks made the playoffs, they would be the worst defensive team in the playoffs, and that's just not my opinion, that's facts. So the Cavs definitely have to try and take advantage of that. But the key to the game for the Cavs is pretty much just play really good defense and hit your shots. Next, I'm going to talk about the Hawks' chances of winning this game. The Hawks have definitely had a down year compared to last year. Last year, they were the 5th seeded team that made it to the conference finals. Now they're the 9th seed playing in the play-in tournament. But even though they haven't been as great this season, for the most part, they still have the same roster, meaning they're still capable of playing an elite brand of basketball that they played before that led them to the conference finals. In a game like this, Trae Young is not someone I want to face. He's a player who always steps up when the lights are at its brightest. He's always going to be the best player in this game, which is a huge advantage for the Hawks. And surrounding him, he has a lot of supporting players who can have big games and step up. Guys like DeAndre Hunter, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Kevin Herter, even Clint Capella had a big game last time, and Danilo Gallinari is definitely capable of having a big game as a veteran. Hawks are just one of the best offensive teams in the league. If they have a game where they're hitting their threes, they're a really hard team to beat. The Hawks had the 6th best offensive rating this season, and that was with them having lots of injuries. The defense on the other end is something that could cause them to lose this game. They're one of the worst defenses in the league. But overall, the Hawks have a strong chance due to the fact that they have Trae Young, who's for sure going to have a big game, and on top of that, they have several other players who can step up in a game like this. The Cavaliers do have one of the best defenses in the league, and I could say they could give the Hawks some type of trouble, but their defense won't be as good as it was for most of the season because Jarrett Allen won't be playing. Also, Cleveland's top players are guys who have never seen the playoffs, whereas the Hawks have, like, obviously went to the playoffs last year, and they just have more veterans overall on their team. And I don't care what people say, the play-in tournament is basically like the playoff atmosphere. So the Hawks definitely have more experience in this type of stuff. But if I'm being honest, if the Hawks are hitting their shots and Trae plays better than he did against the Hornets, the Hawks are not easy to beat. To answer who I think will win, if I'm being honest, it was a really hard pick. I was actually thinking about it for quite some time, but I think I'm gonna go with the Atlanta Hawks. I think that if the Cavaliers had Jared Allen, I would have won with them. But to be honest, the Cavs have not been great as of late, whereas the Hawks have been great as of late. And I think the Hawks are just going to continue to play their on-fire brand of basketball. Also, the Hawks have the better player of the two teams. And honestly, in a game like this, I'm not betting against Trae Young unless he's going against Kevin Durant, Giannis, or Joel Embiid. And the thing about Trae Young is that even if he struggles with his shooting, just how he did against the Hornets, he's still going to drop 10 or more assists and get his shooters involved. So honestly, I'm going with the Hawks, but I could see the Cavs making this a game and probably even winning this game because they're at home. But I just feel like the Hawks are going to win. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Let me know who you think is going to win. Drop a like on this video, that my channel will grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want daily NBA content. Also, if you want to go of 3,000 subscribers, also drop a comment on this video as I do respond to all of my comments. And play that intro.